Hey, what's up? This is Gary from Raz Rentals, and boy, is this review long overdue. I mean, this box set has been out for almost a year now, and I just got mine a couple days ago. I ordered mine way back in July of 2021 directly from NECA, and I didn't get it until late February 2022. Now, of course, you have all these delays and stuff like that of the shipping and all this stuff. You know, the old people and the kids are all talking about. I don't know anything about that. All I know is I've been sitting here patiently waiting while everybody else has been playing with their Turtle in Disguise toys that they found at Target. You know, I never saw this box set at Target ever. Never once. And I never even looked at it on eBay because I was like, you know, forget those scalpers. I'm not paying extra money for this. I'm just going to order it from NECA and I'm going to get it, right? Right? Well, I finally got it. And, you know, I can't wait to talk about this thing because there's so many cool things inside this box that just need to be explained. It was a drag for almost the past year, but, you know, my patience has finally paid off. And in some ways, I actually made out a little better, I think. Because the initial batch of these Turtle in Disguise figures were very glossy. You know, their faces, they were too shiny. But these brand new Turtle in Disguise figures, just coming out in Target now, and also the ones released by NECA if you ordered it in July, they have a matte finish, which, in my opinion, looks way nicer. So, in a way, like I said, I'm glad it took me this long to get it, because I didn't want to have to spend another $100 and some to buy a better version of this. You know, if you're one of those people that got the glossy version, you know, that's a bummer. You've got a big decision on your hands. So I better stop wasting time because, like I said, there's so many things that I need to talk about. And I was also recently challenged by a viewer in one of my comments to talk about every single Easter egg on this package. You know, no other reviewer, I guess, has gone into detail about all the different things on this box. And I'm going to do it with screenshots and everything. So, you know, sit back, relax, and let's go here. The package art here looks beautiful, and it was done by the same artist that illustrates all of the deluxe figure covers, Dan Elson. Dan is a master at capturing the look and feel of the classic VHS tapes that we all loved as kids, and he brings these characters to life with exciting compositions that appeal to us now. You know, now that we're old, jaded, and judgy. I hate everything that's new, but I love this. Vinny's Pizza is one of the only pizzerias to appear sporadically throughout the series. I'm pretty sure that Vinny's first appeared in Season 3, but the building had no logo. In the Season 4 episode, Turtle Maniac, you can see the logo on a pizza box. In that episode, you can also see Vinny's from the outside. You know, it's got the cool Vinny's logo out front. And in the Season 6 episode, Snakes Alive, you see Vinny's Pizza, but the logo is a little different. There's probably others throughout the show, but I haven't finished going through every single episode, compiling everything yet, so, you know, eventually I'm sure I'll figure it out. The inside of Vinny's is never the same. It changes from episode to episode. Here you can see in one episode they had a checkered tablecloth. Even though this picture has a sign for Vinny's right in the middle, this definitely looks a lot like Ninja Pizza from the very first episode of the show. It's like the same composition, almost exactly. All right. So on the side here, you can see a shadow in the window. Now, I was having a hard time figuring out who this shadow is. So I asked on the Technodrome if anybody knew for certain, because when I looked at this, I thought, well, maybe that's Casey Jones, but the body shape does not look right for Casey Jones. Like, he's got the messy hair and everything like that. And somebody on the Technodrome forums said that they believe that this looks like a human version of Baxter the Fly. And I could kind of see that. You know, maybe it's Baxter, or maybe it's his evil brother Barney. I guess they're both evil, but you know, it's tough to tell because their hair is a little more poofy. It's shaped a little differently, but I could see how this could be them. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure who this is. Down on the bottom, you have a wanted poster for Rocksteady, and that's just hilarious. I love that picture. And then below that, you have the an ad for Combat Land. It says, opening tomorrow, the most exciting amusement park in the world. Test your skills against the greatest robot warriors in history and beyond. So Combat Land appears in the season 7 episode Combat Land. Combat Land is like I said, it's an amusement park where you can test your skills against greatest robot warriors in history and beyond. There are 3 main zones in Combat Land: a Shogun zone, a medieval zone, and the future zone. Combat Land is run by Horatio Stressbar, who, seems like an okay guy at first, but of course is up to a diabolical scheme. Who would have saw that coming? All right, so on the top here, you have a few other items. Now, this box, I could not figure out for a while what this was. I asked on my YouTube channel, I put a post and asked people if they knew. People had a lot of good suggestions, but nobody got it, unfortunately. And I also asked on the Technodrome forums. And that's when somebody said that it could be Pigeon Pete's box. And yes, it is Pigeon Pete's box. It has the air holes on top, and it has I guess that's like a blue cushioning. See, when I first looked at this, I thought they appeared like weird blue alien eggs or something like that, like something that would grow bigger. I thought that maybe it could be the pizza monsters, but no, I knew it wasn't them because they didn't have blue eggs. So I don't know. I was looking forever trying to figure out what this was. And, finally, somebody on the Technodromes pointed me in the right direction. So here you can see it in the cartoon, Pigeon Pete sitting in that box. And here's some other shots where you can see Mikey holding the box, and you got the air holes on top. So very, very obscure, but I found it. Well, I can't take the credit for it. I had help finding out what the heck this was. Next up, you have an ad for Posh Pizza. Now, Posh Pizza appears in the season 4 episode Back to the Egg. Mikey finds this flyer in the sewers, of course, and he tells the guys that instead of watching the lizard that swallowed Pittsburgh, they could be watching the turtles that scarfed pizza. So, all the turtles are like, oh yeah, I could go for some pizza. And they leave the sewers to head to Posh Pizza. Now, while the turtles are at Posh Pizza, a friend of Krang's from Dimension X named Captain Krulik sprays 2 of the pizzas with a age-reversing serum, which turns Mikey and Leo into little kids. And potentially eggs. Oh no! And last on the top, you have a wanted poster for Shrika. Shrika appeared in the season 6 episode, Shrika's Revenge. Shrika scoured the universe for eons, trying to find Krang. They used to be partners in crime, until Krang abandoned her in the Andromeda Galaxy, and made off with her power ring, her power pack energy ring. In order to get her off his back, Krang decides to give the ring to April, and of course, this causes all types of problems. So on the other side, you have another shadowy figure in the window. But don't be afraid, because it is Zack the 5th Turtle. Everybody knows who Zack the 5th Turtle is, so there's no point in going over his whole history, because NECA has just put up their Zack figure for pre-order, and, I ordered it, so I'm going to get him, and when I get him, I will do a complete cartoon history of Zack. So, just wait and be patient like I was before. Below him, there is some graffiti on the wall. This graffiti is of the Swatter. The Swatter appeared in the season 5 episode Michelangelo Meets Bugman Again. He's actually the writer of the Bugman comics, and his real name is Jerry Spiegel. But he's more diabolical than he looks, because he was only able to write the Bugman comics because he spied on Bugman and revealed all of his secrets. In the episode, he's trying to spy on the Turtles because he wants to make a comic book about them. When he fails to get the information he needs, he decides to don the persona of the Swatter and take the city ransom. If the Turtles don't reveal their secrets to him, he'll use his termites to eat the city. In front of the graffiti, you have you have a garbage can, which of course looks like the muck pack for Muckman, because sitting inside of this garbage can is also Joe Eyeball. That's his eyeball sticking out of there. And next to Joe Eyeball, there's a hockey stick that could either be Zach's hockey stick or it could be Casey Jones' hockey stick. On the back here, you have a lot of really nice looking pictures of the action figures within this box. Recently, I was watching a video by Power Turtle Busters, and he had mentioned that he thought it was a little weird that they put the turtle pants under the shell. And I agree with him. That is weird. Why would they do that? That looks very strange. So hopefully these pants can fit around the whole shell, because I can't have the turtles standing like that. I mean, and that's pretty much it, about this package. Of course you have these Ace Duck posters on the walls. Those aren't anything real. There was never anything like that in the actual cartoon. And then you have the wanted posters for Jersey Red and what the heck is that guy's name? I can't remember his name. He's something. It's something related to a dog, but I can't remember what it is. And you also have a Scrag over here, who eventually we will get in 2025 when Loot Crate eventually ships him to us. So down at the bottom here, it says includes Pigeon Pete, pizzas, boombox, skateboard, signature weapons, interchangeable hands, heads, masked heads, removable hats, coats, pants, and more. Whew. Lots of stuff in here. If you thought that was it, you were dead wrong, because there are still more things to talk about on this packaging. But first, I want to pop that down and just talk about the guys themselves here. These guys look fantastic. As much as I love those San Diego Comic-Con turtles, these guys just ooze the Fred Wolf look. I mean, the faces are so on proportionally and just capture their personality from that cartoon. These dudes look phenomenal, and the window composition, of all of the items inside of this package just really, really captures your eyes. I almost feel bad that I'm going to pull all this stuff out of this box, and ruin this amazing sight. All right, so down at the bottom here, there are a lot of little neat things here, so let's take a look. You got a lot of cool things spread out all over the place. Up here you have these yellow feathers. That, of course, is, a nod to Ace Duck. You have a broken communicator over here. Now, like, I'm sure, they probably have lots of broken communicators in the show, but here is one that I have in my screenshot collection from the episode A Real Snow Job. Down here, there's a little tiny piece of gum. Now, the gum actually comes from a season 11 episode called the Attack of the Killer Chewing Gum. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. Down below the gum, you can see some ads for some free pizza. Now, that actually comes from the season 2 episode Case of the Killer Pizzas. The Shredder throws these down into the sewers to pull the turtles out. He tricks them into coming to a free pizza bake-off. I can't remember what you call it exactly. Where he, tries to give them the eggs to the pizza monsters to take home. The cuts on these free pizza ads were made by the Shredder, which is something that Splinter takes notice of. Up here, you have a collection of comic books. First, you have Bugman from the season 4 episode, Michelangelo Meets Bugman. That's Donnie reads that book and Michelangelo reads that book. It's a pretty cool book from what I understand. Midnight Avenger is from the season 7 episode Night of the Dark Turtle. After Donatello gets his amnesia or whatever, he reads the Midnight Avenger and he's inspired to become the Dark Turtle. And then over here you have a Creepy Eddie ad. That's not like something that's actually from the cartoon, but Creepy Eddie, the character, is. He appears in the season 6 episode Nightmare in the Lair, and he attacks the turtles in their dreams. Just like the movie slasher villain Leatherface. I mean Ghostface. He gets you in your dreams, right? Uh, Over here, you have the Alien Invaders comic. That's from Zach and the Alien Invaders. Zach reads this comic and it rots his brain. He starts to see aliens everywhere. Here's a piece of pizza from the episode All of the Above. Next to him, in the sewer there, you can see that a pizza monster is trying to come out. You know, I love those dudes. They're awesome. I was so happy last year when NECA finally released them. You know, after 30 some years, we finally got the pizza monster. Above him, you have this money, and that money appears in the episode Shredderville. That's when the Ninja Turtles find themselves in New York, but it's run by the Shredder. And it's only a dream. Up here you have some Ninja Stars. Next to the Ninja Stars, you have a puddle of mutagen from probably the Mutagen Man episode, you know. Look at him. He's gone all to pieces. And last, you have a set of footprints here. And as you can see, you got one boot and one insect foot. And that obviously is Scumbug. And don't you forget about it. And, you know, that is everything that needs to be discussed on this packaging. You know, it took a while, but we're finally through it all. So I guess that's it, you know. Thanks for watching. And wait a minute. I haven't even begun the real coverage here. I mean, there's lots of great items inside this box. Some very obscure, too, you know. And I'm going to tell you about all of them. So, I can't wait any longer. You know, I'm going to open these guys up, get them warmed up, and they'll be back after I talk a little bit about Ninja Turtle disguises. In the original Fred Wolf series, the Turtles were always wearing different disguises to hide their true appearance from the citizens of New York. The outside world rejects them, so they have to do what they can to fit in. They wore their famous fedora and trench coat look in the very first episode, but being the fashion icons that the Turtles are, they didn't stop there, you know. They added pants in season 3, which they wore sometimes, you know, not always with the trench coat. And not only that, the Turtles had a bunch of other different disguises. You know, too many to really cover in one video, or at least here. There's so many to talk about. But, you know, I'm going to show you some of my favorites. Now, I love the, I guess, the hip-hop clothes from Enter the Shredder. That's what they are, right? Like, I'm a square. I'm not really sure, you know. These things kind of look like a mix of, like Michael Jackson and like leather jackets and stuff. I have no idea what this is supposed to be exactly. I just know they got their boombox, and I don't know. so anyways, they wear these also in the episode Yosagi Yojimbo, but the colors are a little different. Now I like the cool construction suits from Corporate Raiders from Dimension X. These are also in Curse of the Evil Eye, again, in different colors for some reason. Here's the guys in sailor's gear in the episode Green with Jealousy. Here they are as punk rockers in The Irish Jig Is Up. Never mind the bullocks, dude. Pass the pizza. Business suits in Mr. Og. I like the robes and Groucho Marx noses from The Mean Machines. Here they are in their cool winter clothes from Yosagi Come Home. And here they are with their winter clothes with noses in Casey Jones. Here's some mobster clothes in the Big Cufflink Caper. And here's a couple others that, you know, I'm just going to go through pretty quickly. Ooh. Ah. Oh my, would you look at that? You know, they should always wear funny mustaches. These are some pretty hilarious looking Ninja Turtles. And let's wrap it up here with just a few others. Here's Pizza Guy, here's a robot, and you know, that's enough, right? There's a ton more too, but you know, that's all I'm gonna show. So now let's take a look at their most popular disguise, in toy form. Man, these dudes look awesome. And they appear just like they did in the show, you know? I was really looking forward to the set for a few reasons, but two of the biggest were, the brand new head sculpts, which appear more proportionate to how they appear in the Fred Wolf series. And, the other big reason was I couldn't wait to get new turtles with better hips. The SDCC set was cool, but, the hips kind of sucked. They were the old NECA hips that, I'm so happy they moved beyond now. My San Diego Comic-Con turtles, always fall over. When you move the one leg, the other leg moves at the same time. They got some problems. Plus, I also broke my Donatello's bow, so I needed these guys. So I am going to compare one of these guys with the San Diego Comic-Con turtle to, see what's been improved since 2017. But first, let's talk about the turtle's coat disguise. So right off the bat, I got to mention that I haven't even begun to try to move the Ninja Turtles' bodies at all because, I can't tell which way the joints are. And I don't want to accidentally snap them by trying to, force them a certain direction that, they're not supposed to be moving. So I won't actually get them moving until I undress them. Okay. So, all right, the soft goods on this guy, I think, look really, really nice. I think it's really hard for toy companies to really give off the illusion that the clothing is realistic or looks correct with the action figure. I think it's because you have these little tiny pieces of clothing on them. It just lots of times looks like cloth, or you really notice the stitching, or there's just something off about it that just makes you feel like, it's more of a toy than if you had even a rubber coat or something like that, So sometimes it can be weird, but I think that this is actually pretty good. The stitching looks pretty nice. I think even the little added details like the pockets or even the belt hoops and the belt going across, I think that really, really makes this look nice. One of the things that you'll notice if you look at the trench coat in the cartoon is that they always have the collars flipped up. And yeah, you definitely get that with this action figure. It looks pretty cool. The only thing that I would say that they don't have is these trench coats should have buttons going up them. In the cartoon, they got those buttons, and on this action figure, they do not. And that's another one of those things where it's if they would have had a little tiny button, it could have looked weird or something. I don't know what they could have done, if they could have maybe stitched a little circle or something like that. Something to give an illusion of a button, but it's okay that they don't have them. You can let that go, because you also have these cool little little flaps here on the shoulders. That is always present in the cartoon. They always have those on their trench coats. So it's nice that they were able to add that little bit in there, because when I looked in the box at first, I thought that was missing. So it's a nice surprise to see them there. That is very cool. If you take a look at the pants, the pants look good. No complaints there. They're stitched well. They look pretty clean. I do think it's weird that the pants do go underneath the shell like that. That is a little strange. I don't think these pants are big enough to go around the shell, but I'll try that out in a little bit once I start getting these guys moving and everything. The Turtles only started wearing pants in season 3 and up, which I already mentioned, but I figured I'd mention it again. Now, I have noticed that at times when the Turtles undress their trench coat and pants to fight a villain, they will never actually show them take their pants off. I don't know if that was a management thing, they felt like it was inappropriate for a kid show to show the Turtles pulling down their pants, or what, or if the animators just didn't want to animate them pulling down their pants. So lots of times they will have pants on, and then the scene when they take their trench coat off to fight, the pants will just disappear. So this is just a little weird thing that you kind of notice if you're really paying attention to the show. Now, if you look at this shot from the episode Slash, the pants fit over the front of the shell, and they wear a belt. I don't have any other shots of just the pants without the trench coat at the moment, so that's the best I can do. So far, I have never seen them actually wear the pants underneath the shell. If that has happened, and you know about it, let me know about it. I just think that it was like, you know, like a cost thing or something. Like they didn't want to make the pants big enough to go over the shell, or maybe if you tried to make the pants big enough that they went over the bottom of the shell, maybe the pants kept on slipping off or something. I don't know. For some reason, they decided to do it this way, and I don't understand why. So I've been trying to move Mikey around here to see how well he moves with the clothes on. You know, obviously you're going to be hindered a little bit by the fabric, but you can still like bend his arms pretty well, you know, with that trench coat on, or, you know, rotate it up a decent amount. The pants, you know, the pants, when you try to move them around, they like start to pull down off the inside of the shell there. And it's like, you know, it's still, you can still move them around pretty well, which is, you know, nice. So I would say that, you know, the clothing works really well with their articulation. Let's see if I can get those pants over the shell. So I was trying to get the pants over the front of the shell, but I'll be honest with you, it is a little difficult. You know, the waistband is definitely not big enough to be able to go over the front and the back. Like, you're definitely not going to be able to get it over that back shell. You could try to get it over the front here, but when I was trying to like even get the back here over this green part, I was having such a hard time moving that around and getting it into the correct position. So, you know, it is what it is. You're probably going to have to be stuck with, you know, keeping this under the shell like that and trying to pull it up and over here. In all honesty, I don't know, like, I like the pants. I think, you know, that's a pretty nice look in the cartoon, but I also like the way they look in Turtle Track. So I don't even know if I'm going to, you know, display them with pants. You know, I'll probably just display them with the trench coat. But at least you have the option. You know, that's the plus there. Trying to undress this guy is a little difficult too. You know, the trench coat was all right. All I had to do was kind of bend the arm a certain way and slipped it off like that. But the problem with the pants here is you know, the pant leg right here at the bottom. It's just a little difficult trying to pull that off of the foot, because the foot gets so wide down at the bottom here. So, you know, it is tricky. It also kind of makes me feel like I'm playing with like dollies or something like that. Like, I don't know. It's just a little different when you're, you know, dressing up your action figure, you know, as compared to just having like, you know, clothes that are sculpted onto their body. Oh, there we go. I'm doing it now. All right, so now we get to, you know, compare the San Diego Comic-Con version to this brand new Turtles Disguise version. Well, year-old Turtles in Disguise version. Now, what I did see on Facebook a lot is that people were saying about how the Turtles in Disguise, the brand new release heads, were matte instead of glossy, which, you know, I said at the beginning I was super excited about that. But for some reason, the rest of the body is still pretty glossy. You know, especially compared to the San Diego Comic-Con Michelangelo here. Like, you could definitely see some extra shine on his thighs and his biceps and his hands and stuff like that. But the head looks pretty good. Even the shell's shinier. So if you take a look at these guys side by side, the first thing you're going to notice is just how different the faces are. You know, as much as I like this San Diego Comic-Con Michelangelo, he is definitely not on model. I mean, his cranium is just gigantic. You know, he's got a huge noggin up there. And his beak area is very short. You know, it's not as tall as it should be. Like, if you look at it in the cartoon, you can see that the beak area is very large. You know, very big cheeks, very big beak. And the amount of cranium you see above the eyes is very, very little. Now, if you look at the Turtle in Disguise Michelangelo, he definitely has that look. You know, he definitely looks a lot more like that. Not too much cranium up top, Very big, his eyes are bigger. I don't mind the actual look at the eyes on the San Diego Comic-Con Michelangelo, because he's kind of glaring, he's kind of, his eyebrows are going down like he's angry. But the beak size and everything like that of this turtle in disguise Michelangelo looks fine. I think even the proportions of the head, I think the mask and everything like that just looks a lot nicer on this new Turtles in Disguise one. There is something decent about this. I'm not going to knock this necessarily because it still looks good. It just does not look as good as this brand new Michelangelo. It looks better. As I said, I do kind of like that more stern look, that angry grimace on Michelangelo. So you have this, this brand new face with the closed mouth, and that looks pretty awesome too. Like his eyeballs look really nice. I like how his eyebrows, you can actually see like the subtle shape around the, the middle. I don't know, that looks pretty awesome. I like that a lot actually. One of the weird things, I think, I guess it's not hugely weird or anything like that, but the little knot and the extra bandana, this little bit up here is like huge, because there's actually a joint in here, so you can actually move this around. So that is cool, but like I said, it's just, to me it seems like very, very big. One problem that's pretty consistent throughout the whole NECA line is that, they paint their joints. They don't make the joints the same color as the item around it. So unfortunately, what's, a huge bummer here is the peg here that connects to the orange bandana is like turtle skin color. So it's green, it completely wore off as soon as you start to move it. You can see here the orange is kind of, peeling away and stuff like that. Like, why not make that peg orange? It's supposed to just be orange. Like, I don't know. It's such a bummer that they do that all the time and not just make that the correct color, because it always falls off no matter what. It's always going to fall off. So you are going to notice that green right in the middle of the orange. Once you get past the head, there's not much of a difference between this brand new Michelangelo and the original cartoon Michelangelo. He still has the same articulation in the shoulders. You get the bicep cut and everything like that. He still has single jointed elbows, just like him. Same hands and everything like that. Even the pen lines, they look very similar. The shading, the cell shaded look, is pretty much around the same exact spot. Although the back of this Turtles in Disguise Michelangelo, he does not have any cell shading on the back of his head, so that's a little different. The shell is exactly the same, nothing new there. It looks like there's more pen, or maybe the pen is just darker on the Turtles in Disguise Michelangelo. One of the major differences between these guys, and one of the reasons why I wanted to buy this set, is the hip articulation. I wanted to get this new Michelangelo for the new hip articulation. The original hip articulation is it's NECA's old style of hip articulation, where you sort of have hinges, and they're not really ball joints necessarily. You can rotate forward and up and down because of that hinge, and then you do have rotation. The hip joint rotates around that bit in there, but it's not the best. If you move one leg, the other leg moves with it, and lots of times my guys would just kind of like start to hunch over or fall down and stuff like that. So to me, I never liked that. I think it was around the Rock Soldiers when they started to change it and add this like brand new hip articulation. It could be before that, but that's the one that I specifically remember, where you have more of a ball joint inside of there, and you have that bit that's wrapped around the ball, and then the leg attaches to that bit. So, if you want to rotate the leg, you could either rotate the piece that is attached to the ball, or you could rotate the actual leg itself, which, works perfectly, because sometimes one of them is a little stiffer than the other. And because you also have that ball in there, you can rotate it forward, back, and like this, it's way, way better. I like this hip articulation a lot. Their knees are exactly the same, except, This one's a little sloppy because you have this little bit here that's sticking out a lot further than the San Diego Comic-Con one. And then the last difference, all you have is different heads, different hip articulation, and finally you have different feet articulation. The original one is more of a ball joint where you can rotate it in a 360. It kind of rotates up and down a little bit, but not too much, and you kind of can rock it back to fourth. It was pretty decent. It worked well. If you liked, sometimes the rotation was actually pretty nice because you don't have any other points of rotation in the leg down here. You only have a rotation up here, and then you have the rotation down here. If you look at the Turtles in Disguise leg, all he has is just this one point of rotation up here in the hips, because the brand new foot articulation is just more of like a hinge joint, right? That hinges, and then you have ankle rockers. So you can't rotate it, in a 360 anymore. It's completely stuck there. Well, holy crap. I don't know how I missed this, but check this out, right? My San Diego Comic-Con Michelangelo, his, feet are on the right side. You have the big toe and the inside of the foot and the little toe on the outside. Look at my Turtles in Disguise Michelangelo. His feet are on the wrong side. So, I'm going to have to, try to heat these up and move them. That is ridiculous. I can't believe that happened, So wish me luck. Just for the sake of covering everything, I am going to talk about articulation really quick here, all right? So you have a ball joint here between the top of the neck and the head, and you have a ball joint here at the bottom of the neck where it connects to the body. This allows him to look down pretty far, but he can only look up so high before his head hits the back of that shell. And also these, they can rotate in every direction, which is pretty nice, The back of the bandana here, this knot, could rotate all the way around, plus there is a hinge in there, so you can try to make it look like he's in motion, doing whatever you want him to do. There is no articulation in the upper torso up here. The shoulders do rotate around, and they have a hinge. That works well. You have a bicep cut, which rotates all the way around. You have single jointed elbows, which can rotate all the way around, and there's a hinge there, so you can bend at the elbow. The wrist here rotates around, and there's also a hinge. You have a cut here. Well, this upper torso piece in here is separate from this lower torso piece. So you can make that, rock back and forth like that, or you can also kind of rotate it a little bit. So you can get some movement in there, but it is hindered a little bit because of that giant shell. The hips here, as I said before, he's got ball jointed hips, which are nice because you can move the legs out to the side, you can rotate them forward, or you can rotate the leg 360, it will stop though. Eventually the top of the leg here will stop it from going all the way in 360. So I lied. You have double jointed knees, and they work very well. There is no rotation or anything like that here, so you're only going to get a straight, bend at the knee there. And then the ankles, you have a hinge, and you have ankle rockers, and that is all for articulation. But that's all you really need for this guy, right? Included in this box set are 4 different Ninja Turtle expressions, which can they're all interchangeable with the different color mask, which is pretty neat. And I don't know if that makes any sense how I just said it, but I will explain it to you. Unfortunately, you only get 2 a piece of, closed mouth smiling, closed mouth sneering, open mouth smiling, and like yelling or a shocked expression. I don't know. He's an angry turtle. So you only get 2 a piece of those, unfortunately, so you can't have every turtle have the same exact expression. But, you can have like 2 closed mouth and 2 open mouth smiles on your Ninja Turtles if you want to, or have the more angry, ready to fight looking faces. All right, so what do I mean by interchangeable heads? Well, if you have Michelangelo here, and you don't want him to be happy Michelangelo, you want him to be like attack cry Michelangelo, like I'm gonna bash your head in with my nunchucks Michelangelo. You can easily, pop that head off pop this one in if you could get the peg in the right place, or the ball, and there you go. Now Michelangelo is super angry. He's ready to attack with his nunchucks. But, you know, maybe you don't want him to, you know, be all out screaming at the bad guys. Maybe you want him to be looking at somebody who just stole his pizza, and for him to give like an angry sneer or glare, right? So you want a closed mouth, an angry closed mouth look. You might think, well, that's a bummer, you know, only Leonardo can do the closed mouth sneer. Well, no, you can actually remove the eye band piece there. You see that the top part is a separate piece from the mouth, and I'm sure you probably know this, but I'm just covering it just in case if people don't know. What I've been doing is I've been taking a Sharpie and kind of putting it up here and pushing down on the cheeks and the beak. That way I don't have to like stick anything underneath that eye piece and, you know, like put like a little mark or anything like that in there. You could easily pop it off like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, poor Leonardo, they chopped his head in half, right? So you get Michelangelo. Oh, again, you can easily pop the top of his head off with the Sharpie if you have it in the right spot, of course. There we go. So now you have his eyeballs, and you have the closed mouth sneerer, serious look. This is a serious Michelangelo. Like I said, somebody stole his pizza. You got to line it up perfectly, and you just snap it down, and there you go. Now you have a closed mouth angry Michelangelo, and you can just pop that piece right on top of the head, right? No? Yes. Pop right there. Now he looks good. And like I said, you can move that bandana around. These bandanas too, they come out a little easily, and you can just plug that right back in place. I do want to mention like the gaps on the face of these open mouth turtles. You know, I think because they have such a like cavernous mouth, you know, they have this deep mouth, they have to make these heads in separate pieces and then glue them together. And the yelling heads, you know, they are just not flush at all. Like that beak does not line up with the rest of the face, and it is very jarring. You know, you notice it. On the other hand, the smiling open mouth face, you know, you can see that line there, but it does fit in there very flush. It looks nice and clean. You could almost imagine that it's one piece. Especially they try to hide it a little bit by trying to draw the ink line in that line, you know, to try to trick you into thinking that it's just like an animation line or something like that. But yeah, so open mouth yelling, not my favorite, just because of that. You know, if they could have made that a one piece and didn't have these giant gaps, it would be so much better. But you know, what can you do? And both of them are like that. You know, both yelling faces are just not on. Man, I'm really happy to finally join the party. Finally, I got my Turtles in Disguise set, and you know, in all honesty, now that I have these dudes, I'll probably retire the old San Diego Comic-Con Turtles. The better face sculpts and the better hips really push these guys ahead of the originals. So here you can see this brand new Fred Wolf Michelangelo next to some of the other current Ninja Turtle lines, not to mention the original Michelangelo from 1988. And you know, I'm a huge fan of most of these guys. Maybe not necessarily the newer Playmates Michelangelo. He just has not aged well, you know. Obviously, the 88 Turtles were the first, you know, the most important Ninja Turtle action figures to come out. So Super 7 is perfect, you know, if you loved that original toy line. But a lot of people think of the Fred Wolf Show when they think of the Ninja Turtles. So, you know, NECA has you covered. I mean, NECA has a ton of... I almost cursed there. NECA has a ton of Ninja Turtle lines. It's like getting crazy already. Me personally, I'm just happy to get all of them, you know. Turtles 88, you know, was the best toy line when that came out. You know, it completely dominated the toy aisle and destroyed everything in its path. And at the moment, Super 7 and NECA are continuing the awesome, amazing legacy of Ninja Turtle toys. And now, accessories. That's quite a mountain of hands. One of the reasons why I was dying to get this box set was because of the cool accessories. You know, there's a lot of neat items here, and some of them are incredibly obscure. But don't worry, I'm going to cover them all and relate to them to the cartoon as best as I can. First, I gotta mention the main weapons of the Ninja Turtles. You know, these all look great, but they're exactly what we've seen before, you know, nothing new here at all. If you have the San Diego Comic-Con or any of the 2-packs of the Turtles from before, they are the same exact weapons. The biggest difference here is you don't get the cool, you know, Michelangelo nunchuck effect. I kind of wish that they would have included one, though, because I was kind of hoping for 2 of them. Now, I've already covered these excessively in my 2017 to 2020 complete NECA accessories video, so there's no real reason for me to go over them again. That video, last I looked, it's like over 9,300 views and is steadily climbing to 10,000 views day by day. That's the most views any video on my channel has. So I'm sure most of you have probably already seen it and heard what I had to say about them. You know, thanks for checking out that video. It took forever to make, so I'm glad that, you know, so many people have seen it. And just as a bonus, and because I have no other place for this in this video, here's a cool fight between the Shredder and Leo from the Season 3 episode, The Gribbix. You know, there's just something so cool looking of Shredder and Leo fighting to the death on top of this wall in the sewers. Of course, it's not to the death because it's a Fred Wolf cartoon, but whatever. It just looks awesome and dynamic, you know, seeing the 2 of them battle up on top of there. And if you look at the next shot, which is like a close-up of them fighting, hey, look, Leo's using his swords. So there you go. That's how I'm relating it to the weapons. Because this is the Turtles in Disguise set, I have to talk about the human masks first. I think that these are hilarious and just goofy looking, you know. They're such a weird and odd thing from the cartoon. Even Leonardo here thinks that they're strange and unusual. But they always stand out in my mind from the cartoon, you know. The Ninja Turtles putting on these goofy masks and walking around like people wouldn't, you know, think that they're like some weird freaks. These masks first appeared in the Season 3 episode, Turtles on Trial. I love Michelangelo's reaction here, you know. It's like April just gave him a severed head and he's very upset. The guys have to wear these masks because turtle phobia is, you know, at an all-time high during that episode because of the show On Trial. On Trial is a Jerry Springer type show hosted by Clayton Kellerman. Clayton's been saying a lot of negative things about the guys, and he uses fear and anger to appeal to his viewers. You know, I'm so glad that TV and internet has moved on beyond these childish tactics. The Turtles use these masks mostly with the trench coats, but, you know, not always. They still go maskless most of the times. You know, they barely wear these masks in the show. And they've also worn these masks in other disguises. In my opinion, the dumber and deader these look, the better. I love when the masks just have lifeless, soulless expressions on their faces. You know, I kind of wish that the mouths didn't move at all when they talked, just like a real mask. Sometimes the heads will show like expressions on them, like in the episode Cowabunga Shredhead. But, you know, I do think that this is interesting and kind of funny in its own way. But I just kind of lean towards that dead-eye stare the masks have sometimes. So as you can see here, you get 4 of these, you know, so you can put a mask on each one of your Ninja Turtles. You get 2 smiling faces and 2 of the more faces, right? You know, I like these. I don't know if they kind of remind me like Uncle Fester or something like that. It's just like this bald, fat dude face. What I really like about these is sort of like the tapering down at the bottom to make it look like a mask. That way it's, you know, it actually looks like it's kind of like hanging off of their heads. I think that's pretty cool. If you look at it in the cartoon, you could see that it pretty much has the exact same look. You know, has a very prominent brow. It has sort of like the droopy cheeks and just like the big nose. You know, there's nothing really specific to say about it. Just big bulging eyes, and there you go. You know, these match perfectly with the cartoon. If you want to switch your Ninja Turtle into a disguised Ninja Turtle, all you gotta do is pop off their head, like so, very simple, and just plug that in there. Right? Oh my goodness. I had a hard time getting that on there, but holy crap. That is just hilarious looking. That's like the funniest thing. I don't know. I love that. That's just great, you know? And I'm glad that they made them separate heads that you can plop on the body like that. Seriously, that's hilarious. You know, this just kind of makes me wish that I would have bought like a second set of these guys just to have them standing around with these masks on all the time. You know, it's probably a good thing that they didn't make these like rubber overlays because, you know, in the cartoon, you can get away with making the Ninja Turtle head shape disappear when they put these masks on, and you just wouldn't been able to do that with these action figures, you know. You couldn't fit this head around Donatello's face here, you know. Could you imagine in like the 1990 movie if they tried to put like a human mask on top of Raph's face? That would have been crazy. The next thing I better talk about is the fedora. You know, I can't believe that I haven't even mentioned this once in this video. How could I do that? But you know, this fedora looks great. I mean, I got no complaints. And what are you really going to say about it? It's just a hat they wear, you know, as a part of their disguise. It looks really nice. I'm glad that they made it this like soft vinyl, you know, that they didn't make this out of soft goods because it probably would have been like sagging and drooping and flip-flopping like all over the place. You know, this looks nice. It kind of fits really well on top of Donatello's head. And you do get 4 of them, you know, for every turtle, which is great. And they also fit pretty well on the disguise heads. You know, so these are perfectly made for whatever needs you have. I should also probably mention, and in all honesty, this is probably the first thing that I should have mentioned in this video. April gives the guys their disguises in the episode Turtle Tracks. And here you can see April handing the fedoras to the guys. Man, what an iconic look. You know, for me, the turtles and fedoras and trench coats is like the second most important look for the Ninja Turtles, you know what I mean? Like when you think of all the different variants and costumes and stuff like that, I don't think anything comes close to the, you know, the disguise look like this. I mean, we've seen it in the original toy line, the cartoon, we've seen it in the movie, you see it in the comic books, it's all over the place. You know, it's like the second most important look. It's like the black costume, you know, for Spider-Man. You know, like when you think of the Ninja Turtles, eventually your mind goes into like thinking about how like kind of funny it was seeing Raph walk around in that trench coat in the 1990 movie and nobody noticed that he's a giant, you know, turtle walking around. And I know, you know, we've seen that Super 7 is releasing a disguised Raphael soon. You know, I'm sure we're going to get many, many more toys and many more versions and cartoons and comic books and stuff like that of the guys in trench coats for years and years and years to come. Up next is the weird pizza delivery hat. You know, this is pretty awesome looking. It's just a, you know, a delivery boy hat, but it's cool. I like all the ink lines. It makes it look nice and wrinkly, like it's been worn and, you know, beaten up a little bit. Now, this comes from the Season 3 episode, Pizza by the Shred. And, you know, in that episode, Pizza by the Shred, Michelangelo wears this weird pizza hat. You see, Michelangelo gets a job as a pizza delivery man for Weird Pizza so he can make some money to buy a belly board. What he doesn't know, however, is that Weird Pizza is run by the Shredder. Of course, right? You know, this episode is kind of interesting because Mikey uses the Neutrino Star Cruiser as his delivery vehicle. And then in the end, the Shredder steals it, and it's never seen again in the episode. And from what I understand, the Foot Cruiser, like the box, I've been told that actually explains that the Star Cruiser that was stolen in this episode eventually became that Foot Cruiser toy. Another pretty interesting thing about this episode is they used the sewer tube, the foot ski, the retro catapult, and also the double barrel plunger guns. So this episode is just like one giant toy commercial. There's also like some very interesting and bad animation in this episode. Quite possibly some of the worst in the whole series. Characters are just way off model. I mean, look at Shredder's misshapen body. Like, look at his arms and his fingers. What happened to him? I don't know. Things are just, way off. And look at Mikey's weird arm. I don't know. There's people just do not understand anatomy that we're working on this one. I'm also very curious, if they recycled animation from another cartoon or they did some rotoscoping, because in some scenes, April clearly becomes an Asian woman. I mean, that doesn't look like April at all. I mean, look at her face. This happens in multiple shots in the show. This is a very strange episode, but it's also kind of interesting because the Rat King also shows up and whatever else. Like, it's not highly recommended, but you might as well check it out if you're ever checking out some old episodes of the cartoon. So here's Mikey in full delivery man gear. You got the disguise, the hat, the weird pizza box. The weird pizza box came with the San Diego Comic-Con set, so, that's nice, right? This looks great. Obviously, though, if a pizza delivery man came to your house and he looked like this guy and he was staring at you like this, you'd lock your door and call the police. Here you can see in the cartoon that, he's got all this stuff on. It fits him pretty well. Like I said, you come back here, you can see that you got the cool logo on the box. Now, this hat, it doesn't really fit snug on top of this disguise head. It kind of, you gotta try to get it into the right place. But, it's, like I said, it's not snug. It moves around a bit. In the cartoon, Mikey also wears the weird pizza hat without the mask on his head. And as you can see here, this weird pizza hat does fit on Mikey's head just fine. Probably fits on his head a little better than the disguise mask because it doesn't move around as much. I guess he just has a wider cranium. I don't know. Michelangelo looks mad with this hat on. It's like, his mom or dad made him wear this hat and he doesn't want to do it. Up next is Pigeon Pete. Unfortunately, my Pigeon Pete has one wonky eye. The other one stares just fine. The other one is a little lopsided. So Pigeon Pete, he looks pretty good. He's a bird. There's not much really to say about it. Pigeon Pete showed up only one time in the cartoon. That was in the season 4 episode, What's Michelangelo Good For? They don't show how Mikey found him, but Pete had a broken wing, and Mikey was nursing him back to health. The episode opens with Mikey taking Pete to the veterinarian, Dr. Jane Goodfellow, an obvious nod to Dr. Jane Goodall. She tells him that Pete's wing is healed, and now he's ready to fly again. That's a pretty cool ninja bandana Pete's got on there, right? Well, unfortunately, he doesn't wear it through the whole episode. He wears it in the beginning, when Mikey takes him to the veterinarian place, which kind of doesn't make any sense because Mikey's in his civilian gear, so you'd think that Pete would also be in his civilian gear. And then later on, when Pete helps Mikey save the other 3 Ninja Turtles who've been kidnapped by Dr. Lasso, an evil scientist who's trying to create the perfect animal so he can conquer the world and get his job back as director of the zoo, Pete does not wear his mask. He just goes without it. Now here, Mikey is in ninja gear, so you would think that they would also, have Pete wear it. Pete even does, some stealthy things, like block cameras with twigs and whatnot. But no, he doesn't wear it. Now, there is, a little bit of an explanation. You see, after Dr. Jane Goodfellow tells Mikey that Pete is okay to fly, Mikey decides to release him. But then, like I said, the Ninja Turtles get captured, so Mikey has to go and, try to figure out what happens. And as he's trying to figure out what happens to the Ninja Turtles, Pete returns to him, and decides to go on this mission with him. Now, in my honest opinion, when Pete went to the veterinarian in the beginning of the episode, he shouldn't have worn the bandana, and when he came here to help Mikey find the other guys, Mikey should have been like, "Hey, little dude, what's going on? Hey, guess what? I got a little present for you. Here you go, your very own Ninja Turtle mask. Like, welcome aboard, dude. Now let's go find the other guys." Something like that, right? This episode is, kind of cool, if you like freaks of nature and cool robotic monkeys. Dr. Jane Goodfellow is she's a decent side character, She's very excited to be hanging out with Michelangelo and trying to help him find the Ninja Turtles as well. Dr. Lasso is obviously a nod to Dr. Monroe because he's doing these animal experiments and he lives on an island, for crying out loud. It's definitely not one of my favorite episodes, but it's interesting to see how Pigeon Pete has sort of become this this underdog character or something like that, because he keeps on popping up in other Ninja Turtle media. He's in the 2012 cartoon and he's also in the IDW comic books, but there he's a mutant and he's always kind of crazy or really stupid or something. He's a pretty cool character, and it's funny to see how, if you see this episode where he's just a little pigeon, how that somehow eventually became what it became in the other media. This one scene in the episode kind of gives me anxiety, though. I mean, a Ninja Turtle swimming around in water, all I can hear is oh my gosh, the nightmares. Up next you have this cool looking skateboard. It's blue with this nice yellow stripe. I like the Ninja Turtle shell logo. That's pretty nice. Nothing on the bottom, which is fine because that's exactly how it appears in the cartoon. This skateboard comes from the episode Leonardo Lightens Up. That's from season 4. The Turtles get sick of Leo being so uptight, so they decide to zap him with Donnie's personality modifying ray. They want him to lighten up, but Leo goes overboard and he starts to drive the other 3 turtles crazy. He also won't help them when they need him to help them fight one of the show's lamest villains, Maestro Cleft. Nobody has this dude on their top 10 characters I really want NECA to make list. So Leo, blows the guys off and puts a jockstrap on his head and, skateboards with this cool looking board. He even throws a smoke bomb into the turtle van to get rid of the turtles. And he can also kickflip. Wow, awesome. The only way the other guys are able to get Leo to stop acting like a jerk is by ratting him out to Splinter. Splinter then goes and, he outskates Leo and makes a complete fool of him. Now, Splinter does cheat, but after all, he is a rat. Eventually, Leo goes back to the lair where Donnie zaps him and he puts him right back in his uptight, moody self, his very no-nonsense, we need to train and fight bad guys personality. So this board looks just like the show, It's got all the same colors. You can see that there. You can see that it does have this, shell logo on top, There is this, little tiny symbol, this, shape, this circle inside one of the pieces of the shell. That's not on this board, but, who needs that? Who even cares that's there? Why would they even add that? Why would they animate that little circle there just for the hell of it? I don't know. And then if you look at the bottom, you can see that this skateboard has green wheels. And, the cartoon has green wheels too. So, there's not much wrong they could have gotten with this. So, they did good. This is a pretty nice board for any turtle or rat. Next up, you have the stereo or boombox. This looks pretty nice. The details are pretty cool. You could imagine where the tape deck and stuff like that is. And I don't know, is that a DVD or a CD door? I don't know. I guess they had CDs back then. I didn't get a CD player until 95. My whole family didn't get a CD player until, oh my goodness, Christmas 1995. I got one for Christmas, and then my family used it. I guess we were poor. So, like I said, this is cool. You can find lots of boomboxes and stereos in the season 5 episode Pirate Radio, but this boombox is a very specific boombox. This isn't just one of those regular old boomboxes. This is from the season 3 episode Casey Jones. You see, in that episode, Krang uses these tiny devices to control all the machines in New York. And this boombox hits Mikey right in the back of the head, just before Mikey punches the hell out of it. It's cool that they, decided to make this really weird, obscure stereo or boombox into an actual thing you could buy and use. And let's see, does it work? There you go, all right. All right, so here is the Hare and the Tortoise book. I love that story. This book showed up in the season 1 episode, Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X. All the way at the end of that episode, April reads this book to the turtles as they fall asleep. This is pretty cool. It's even got this picture in the back here. This picture of this tortoise holding a trophy in his hand. For the longest time, I used to think that these 2 hairs on the top of his head were like butterfly antennas. I don't know why. I just kind of picture it like that. Like he was a little fairy turtle on the back of that book. All right, now we're entering the, the home stretch here. The next 3 items are pizza items. And then we just have hands. I mean, whatever. The first pizza item is just this pizza slice. This is pretty cool looking. It looks like the cheese is dripping off of it a little bit, or just like being pulled down. You can see like the sauce up top there. There's a little bit of a texture, sculpted onto this thing. It looks fine. Now, I don't know for certain, if this is an actual pizza slice that appeared in the show. I mean, I try to look a little bit, but I mean, come on. The turtles eat pizza in like every single episode. They eat a lot of pizza. Like, a lot. You'd have to be an absolute madman to try to look for this precise pizza slice. Now, full pizzas, that on the other hand, you could be a normal, non-crazy person to try to find, which I did. This is a pretty nice looking pizza pie. It's got some nice detail on there. I love how it's not a perfect circle. I like that it's all misshapen and stuff like that. That looks nice. And in my opinion, this pizza is supposed to be the pizza from the second intro. Here's a close-up of that pizza, and you take a look at all the ingredients, like the yellow bits, the black circles, the pepperoni. The only thing that I don't see on the toy is the mushrooms. And when you come back to the toy here, all those bits are there, except for the mushrooms. I feel like maybe there could be like little mushrooms sculpted on here that just aren't painted. But, that could just be like my eyes playing tricks on me. I don't know. But I'm going to say that this is the pizza from that intro. All right, so last of the accessories. This second pizza, this somewhat disgusting pizza. Who wants a anchovy and ice cream with pepperoni and I think olives pizza? That's nasty. I don't want to eat this. So I could be wrong about this, but I believe that this pizza is based off of the pizza from Plan 6 from Outer Space. Now in that cartoon, that pizza has marshmallows and chocolate, but I mean, look at that fish. And then come back to the fish on this pizza. I feel like there's a slight similarity there. Sure, this has, ice cream on it, but you still sort of have the white and the brown on it and stuff like that. I don't know. In my opinion, I'm going to say that this is that. But, if you've ever seen a pizza that looks like this, specifically with ice cream and anchovies and pepperoni, let me know. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think, that looks like what they were probably trying to go for there, or what? All right, so hands. Now, this set came with a ton of hands, all right? First, it came with 5 sets of gripping hands. These are cool. Some of them have the hinges that go horizontal, like so. This is stuck because I haven't warmed it up yet. So you can move like this. And some of them have hinges that are vertical, so you can move like this. which is nice. You know, you can get whatever kind of movements you want. You know, if you sometimes the Ninja Turtle weapons work better with the different, you know, types of hinges or whatever. I'd never forgive myself if I didn't mention this. Some of these gripping hands are a little different. Some of them have a tighter grip. Like Michelangelo here, you need to use the tighter grip hands to hold his nunchucks, because the bigger grip hands that I have on Leonardo are too big and the nunchucks kind of fall out of them. So Leo has the bigger grip, right? And then some of these, well, one set of these gripping hands is like Raphael gripping hands, you know. They have the space between the fingers. That way you can fit the sai through them to have them stab people. The next thing you have are these sort of like slapping hands, these open palm hands. Now, to me, these are like a little more specific. They're not relaxed at all. So I wouldn't necessarily say that these are expressive hands, or necessarily like you can use them to emphasize like some poses, or like add a little, you know, nice little thing on the other side, but they're like too straight out. You know, they look very specific. Like you need to get a certain type of look with that. And you get a ton of these in this set. I think you get like 4 sets of them, which is crazy. Next, you have these, you know, these sort of like pointing hands, or you could use it like for Leo or Raph to hold their weapon in there. Like so. Now, see, what I like to do is with Leonardo, I like to put the sword in his hand like this and have it look like he's pointing it at the bad guy. But these hands are so stiff. They're so hard. I can't even get the sword in there. I'm going to have to loosen it up or warm it up. But, you know, that's what I do with the old hands, or even the Turtles in Time Ninja Turtle hands. So there you go. And then you only get 1 set of those kind of hands like this, which you would think that maybe they would, you know, give you 2 of them. But you do get 2 sets of these like thumbs up hands. They can't hold the weapons with these hands at all. They just give a thumbs up for both sides. Like, I don't know. What Ninja Turtle is holding them with both sides, just being like Fonzie, like, hey, like, I don't know. They're cool, but I will probably never use them. If you wanted to know what these guys look like next to some of the Ultimates action figures, well, here you go. You know, those Ultimates figures tower over these guys, but these guys definitely have class, you know. It looks just like the Fred Wolf cartoon, and that's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I think these guys have recognized the Turtles. I don't know what Leonardo's smiling about. His, you know, he's in big trouble. Here's these guys next to some of the recent Playmates action figures, and that's all I can say is, it's alright, I guess. And that's that! There was so much to cover in this video, I can't believe I covered it all, but I did! It's finally finished! After a year-long wait to get this thing, I finally have talked about everything included in this set. Now, there have been some people who've asked me to make this review since these guys came out way back when. So, you know, I'm glad you were patient, just as I was patient. And, you know, I hope I did not disappoint you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Overall, I thought these guys were pretty great. You know, on the negative side, you have the, you know, the faces, you know, the yelling Ninja Turtle faces that aren't necessarily flush. But on the bright side, you know, you have the better, you know, awesome looking, more accurate to the cartoon faces. They all look great. Like, even just looking at Michelangelo here, I feel like his face looks so expressive. And, you know, I feel like there's also sort of that, like, anime look, almost like a, what the heck is the company, like Toei? Is that how you pronounce it? Kind of reminds me of, like, you know, sort of like the anime Dragon Ball kind of animation look. I also think that, you know, the hips are way better. And the only thing that I'm sort of wishy-washy on is the ankles. You know, I'm not sure if I prefer the ankles, the old ones, because you had that extra bit of rotation, or I like these better because, you know, you have the hinge. I haven't decided yet. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and talk to you later.